You see, this is why women's rugby is really, really getting much better. The World Cup final is just, this was such a brilliant game. And for all the young girls out there that want to get into rugby, this is the kind of games that you want to be watching, because I thought that this game was absolutely fantastic. I want to break this game down. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So please like, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And let's get into it. So, England really put on a clinic here. It was a real clinic. Canada are no joke. They're one of the best teams in the world. But when it comes down to England, they were just on par. They were just brilliant. They had their defense was solid. Their set pieces were brilliant, and they just had an all-round good game. They really made Canada work for everything. And Canada were, I think her name was Hogan Rochester. She's rapid. She is a scary player. Like, you know, the way that they worked the ball out, I think it was her try. The way that they worked the ball out to her was absolutely phenomenal. They kind of made it look pretty easy, but England were just there. They were just so strong. I mean, like I say, Hunt was brilliant. Aldcroft was brilliant. Breach was brilliant. Kildan, just on a general basis, is just absolutely phenomenal. We can't take anything away from Cocaine, from Alex Matthews. She was phenomenal as well. And, she just had an all-round good game. This shows just how good women's rugby really can be. And unfortunately, it doesn't get the props or the recognition that it really does deserve. Whoever made the decision to be playing South Africa and Argentina at the exact same time as the Women's World Cup final needs to be slapped, right? Why would you do that? Both games are brilliant, but unfortunately I had to choose South Africa or get to watch the Women's World Cup. Now, unfortunately for me, I do content. So naturally, my first option is going to be South Africa. There's no two ways about it. But they just lost so much viewership, because I can guarantee you that there would probably be so many people that instead of watching South Africa, they would have been watching the Women's World Cup. Right? And especially in the UK, it's on the BBC. It's free to watch. I had to go and rewatch the game. I had to go watch the game after the Springboks game, because they were both played at the same time. I was interested in both of them. And yes, I did keep track of both games at the same time. I didn't actually get to watch a vast majority of the game, especially the second half. If you guys watched the Springboks versus Argentina, you will know why. But England, they were just absolutely brilliant. Every time that they were on the ball, yes, they didn't exactly manage to get the most amount of passes going through. In fact, Canada, they passed far more than what England did, but it was what they did with the ball. That post-contact meters, they were hitting pretty much the exact same amount of post-contact meters, and it was far less passes, right? But the same amount of post-contact meters. So, yeah, England did the basics very well. They worked the basics very well, and they did the set play. Their set plays were on point. They were absolutely brilliant. 10 scrums. They won every single one. 11 lineouts, 91% possession, 91% win percentage, 6 restarts received, won 100% of that. And it goes to show. You look at Canada, 6 scrums, 60% wins, 14 lineouts, 79%, 4 restarts, 1. And then we look at the attack stats: 208 passes comparing to England's 108, 176 ball carries to England's 91 ball carries. But you look at all of those, Canada are far better. They've done far more work going forward, and it comes down to passes and ball carries. But you look at the post-contact meters and you look at where England was aiming. Canada have 267 post-contact meters, whereas England have 247. Shows what happens. Line breaks, 8 comparing to Canada's 6. Turnovers, 5 turnovers, 1 apiece. 14 turnovers lost to England, 12 to Canada, right? And they were still pretty even when it came down to their penalties. But we look at the defense. Canada had 108 tackles made, 26 tackles missed, and 81% completion, whereas England had almost double with 209 tackles made, 26 tackles missed. So the same amount with an 89% tackle completion, right? They were brilliant. They were there. I mean, Morwenna Talling, Zoe Alcroft, Sadia Kabea, they just dominated. They each got minimum 20 tackles apiece. Zoe Alcroft was just there when it came to pretty much everything. She was just absolutely phenomenal. Hannah Bottoman, 2 turnovers. They were there defensively. They kept Canada out. They kept them on their heels, especially when it came down to that 22. They made them fight for literally every single, they fought for everything. They literally made them fight for everything. And unfortunately, Canada were not able to break them down. They were only able to get 2 tries. And on top of that, both tries, they did not convert. So the kicking definitely was not on par, comparing to England with 5 tries, 4 conversions. And yeah, absolute dominance. So it's going to be interesting to see. So honestly, when it comes down to this Rugby World Cup, I was ecstatic. I was so happy to see this rugby. And this is actually my first Women's World Cup that I've actually got to watch. Unfortunately, I was never really that interested in it. But after watching all of this, after watching rugby, England rugby, after watching Canada, after watching South Africa, after watching the Black Ferns, it really gave me a sense of excitement for this. And I'm definitely going to be watching a lot more women's rugby. And if you guys want, and there is a viewership for it, I'm more than happy to actually start making this something consistent on my channel. But yeah, I mean, this was absolutely brilliant. England really showed the bare basics and how a good defense can really form into an amazing attack. So honestly, this is the kind of games that you want to be watching when you want to be getting the girls back into rugby and really start growing rugby from the ground up. This is phenomenal work. This is amazing rugby. Icons like Ellie Kildunn, they were on shows why she's the best player in the world, pulling up big when it was needed. And yeah, she was absolutely phenomenal. England controlled the game. They controlled the defense. Then they managed to make the most out of every single opportunity. They were very smart. They were tactical. I think it was Zoe Alcroft who managed to get a straight turnover where the ball was just left. The ball was just left lying on the floor. Having the tactical presence, having the tactical mind, having the presence of mind to know what is happening, right? And to make the most out of the opportunity. It was an easy turnover. And we found these bits happening a lot through the game. Rugby mind, a strong rugby mind, strong presence, and everybody was switched on. This is something that England do better than pretty much everybody. Like I say, understanding the basics, doing the basics right, and being knowledgeable when it comes down to the sport, knowing what you can do, what you can't do, when it needs to be done. They are brilliant when it comes down to that. So absolutely brilliant work. Love this game. And yeah, I was so happy that I got to watch the game. It's just such a shame I wasn't actually able to watch it live, where why would you do that? Why would you play a final and rugby championship with the best team in the world at the same time? It makes no sense. It is ridiculous. But guys, if you like the game, please hit the like button, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. You just got to give the women support. Go onto their X, go onto their TikToks, wherever. Give the support, drop comments, big up Ellie Kildunn. She is by far my favorite player. But Zoe Alcroft, she is up there. So drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.